right, let's jump into the guerrilla revenue playbook, and I'm gonna fly through this thing, guys. And there we go. Cool. All right. So, great question. What's the difference that makes a difference? So this is a question that I was just talking with Jill Wheaton. She ran Tony Robbins' B2B sales, and so she took that from when they first started B2B up to they did 190 million last year for B2B sales for Tony. So she knows what she's doing. She's smart. But she said, Tony always asks us, what's the difference that makes a difference? So why is it that I can give this information to this person and they go kill it, and they give it to this person and they don't? What's happening there? What's the difference that makes a difference? I would say it's not about the resources you don't have. It's about how resourceful you can become, right? And most people are saying, I don't have the money. My town sucks. People want insurance. People are just talking about every excuse and every reason that you can't do it. So we'll talk about how we become resourceful. So Disney was built by resourcefulness. Most people don't realize this. Walt wasn't really wealthy going through his life. Eventually, they had a lot of money, but he bootstrapped Disney. Like, this was like a bootstrap off organization. When they made Snow White, they said, like, this is going to kill you. Like, nobody's going to go see a full-length cartoon. Like, that's crazy. No one's going to watch that for an hour and a half. Well, so his budget went from $250,000 to $1.5 million in 1937, right? And so he had to show a rough cut to Bank of America. This banker Joe is like, hey man, like, I don't think we can keep doing this. Like, right? So he's coming up against that wall of confrontation. And it's like, what's he going to do? Is he going to give up? Is he going to throw in the towel? He's in that valley of despair, right? And the bank is saying, dude, no more money. No more money. And so he went there. He performed the film for them in the office. And like, because they didn't have a rough cut done. So he performed the film with his emotion and everything that he was, and he got the money. And then he mortgaged his home, borrowed against his life insurance policy to do it. It's like, how dedicated are we to our businesses? When we do this guy bet everything. He had built this company with all these shorts, and he had already had Mickey Mouse and all these different things. And he's ready to just blow up the company so that he can make this happen. So he does it. Obviously, Snow White is great, but he became resourceful. He said, I got to figure out how to get this money. Next thing, sells the rights to his own name. 1952, Roy and the board, Roy's his brother, and the board blocked Disney's Disneyland plans because it's too risky. We can't do this part. We've got a great thing here. We're making the movies. We got Cinderella. We got Sleeping Beauty. Like, stuff's going good, man. Like, don't ruin it, right? And so Walt formed Redwall's, Walter backwards. And the funny thing is, Roy and the board blocked him. But this whole thing was Roy's idea. Roy went to Walt. He's like, Walt, like, you are the company. You can sell your name back to the company. And so he sold his name back to the company, and that's how he made the Imagineering department. Is he started building this whole thing with all this extra money. Roy figured out how he could get that money from his own company so he could do what he wanted to do, and that's how he built Disneyland. Well, and then he went to ABC, which, here we go. So he went to NBC and CBS, which were the two dominant programs on TV. ABC was dying, okay? And Disneyland was going to cost $17 million in 1954 dollars. No one would touch it. And it's just like, how are we going to do this? And nobody was doing television back then, especially movie studios, because they're like, it's going to cannibalize our movie profits, right? So he's like, okay, let me figure out how to do this. So he struck a deal with ABC for $500,000 cash, $4.5 billion in loan guarantees, and then guess what he did with that? Every week, he's promoting the park that he's building. So he made a deal with ABC for them to give him a ton of money to build this park, and then use that platform to advertise. Like, every month he would have like Frontierland, they didn't have Adventureland, they didn't have Tomorrowland. And so everybody, by the time the park was open, they're like, we have to go to this place. So we used it to get the money, then to market it so we could pay the money back, right? Resourcefulness, corporate sponsorships, everything was corporate sponsorships. It still is a lot at Disney. You go on some of the rides, you'll see, like, you know, whatever, Chevron, GE, whatever. They pay for all the different rides, right? Pepsi-Cola did Small World. The 1964 World's Fair was genius. People started asking Walt, hey, can you do something for us for the World's Fair? Can you do something? He did 4 different things. He did Abraham Lincoln and Try. He did Small World. He did like World of Motion and one other one, Carousel of Progress. All the other companies built those rides and paid for them. Then he shipped them back to Disneyland and put them in his park. Like, he has everyone pay for everything, other people's money. What other people are out there that have money that love what you do, that want to invest in what you're doing, that have the same vision as you, and they're like, dude, let's do this together. I see your talents, and you're the guy that I want to do this with, right? So, and that's the thing, like, Walt set himself up as everyone knew that he built quality. What he was going to do with the World's Fair was going to be the best. And so they came to him, and he was able to use their money to do that. It was good for everybody. Florida Project Shell Companies, which the movie that we produced, that I produced on Walt, we're releasing it this year probably, but we have the guy in our movie that flew around the country and bought up all the land for Walt Disney World in Orlando. Because if they found out that that was Walt Disney buying that, it would have gone from less than $200 an acre to $1,000 an acre or more. So he was able to get it. I mean, 27,000 acres. Think of if it was 5 times the price. It's the difference between $1 million and $5 million back then, or whatever that number is, right? So it was genius the way to do this. It was all strategy, and it was all ways to get creative. And so they have multiple shell companies, all these different companies that just went around and bought stuff. So we have to get resourceful. So what I'm saying is these were huge obstacles that they came up against, and this company would not be around the way that it is today if they didn't do all of those things. And if they just said, bank's not going to give us money, let's figure out something else. Well, it's like, no, I'm going to go make this thing freaking happen. And Disneyland, what they didn't say in there is, Walt is I got to show them. I can't tell people anything. I have to show them how this works. And so what he did, he went to one of his animators and he said, hey, I need you to draw Disneyland in like these big charts over the weekend. I need you to get this done because we have a meeting Monday with the bank and we got to show them what Disneyland's going to look like. They had nothing. And Walt's like, I need you. He's like, Walt, I can't do that. He's like, I will stay here all weekend with you. And so they stayed, didn't sleep, did this thing, and they went, he performed it, and then had like all this stuff. It was crazy. So be resourceful. That's all I'm saying. These are just real world examples of how we do this. So he said, we don't make movies to make money. We make money to make more movies. He's just trying to find the stuff to fuel his dreams, right? And you can all become resourceful. So think of what you want for you. This doesn't have to, it's not about movies, but how do we do it in the way that we're doing this to create this thing? We just got to find the money and the resources to do it, right? We all can do that. So he viewed capital as nothing more than fuel for the next impossible project. Profit by all means, not an end. So, I'm trying to think of what I would put in there. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to skip this because it's too much time. So, that is a scene from Empire Strikes Back. And it's the one where, like, Luke is trying to get the X-Wing out of the swamp, and he can't do it. And, he's talking to Yoda, and he's like, this is impossible. And he's like, you need to unlearn what you've learned. Everyone is telling you that this is impossible. It's not true. It's just not true. My pastor actually said this last Sunday at church, he's like, stop letting people tell you that you are not who God meant you to be. It's like so many people, it's like, I have this feeling that I should do this and I should have a big impact. And then everyone comes in and is like, you're going to do it? How are you going to do that? You've never done anything like that before. And we freaking listen to these people, right? We have to unlearn what we've learned and stop listening to people that are telling us that we can't do it and that we don't have the ability to do it, right? You've got to trust our own instinct. I love